Can we bring him in? Every time I think about Matthew Barnaby, I hear Fred Flintstone's voice in my head. Hey, Barney. How you doing, Barney? What's going on?
Roddy, I'm good. I'm cold. I just got back to Buffalo. Rob Ray gets inducted into the Sabres Hall of Fame tomorrow, so flew in for that, but not liking this 20-degree weather instead of the 80 that you're in right now.
I know it. I saw that you were just here. I'm like, why would you go north? But you know what? For Rob Ray's Hall of Fame induction, I get it. You can't miss that. Barney, I always enjoy our chats because you know you have a home here. You can say whatever the hell you want. And today, the Four Nations face-off teams are announcing their captains. And I'm not really that into that because I don't know how meaningful a captaincy is going to be for over a 2-week period. But how much are you into that and the tournament overall here coming up?
The tournament I'm excited about. I always love best on best, or, I go back to Rendezvous 87 and Canada Cups. Those are my favorite times that I've seen. Obviously, Olympics when Crosby had the golden goal. This is just going to be another great couple weeks of hockey, and I don't mind it taking time out during the season to watch it. I think everyone loves to see best on best. As for the captains, I could care less. I saw Victor Hedman was announced. Sidney Crosby obviously is going to be the captain of Team Canada, but I really could care less who the captains are. I just can't wait to see it, can't wait to bet on it, and just absolutely love it.
Okay, well, that's two of us. Well, listen, cheering is easy. It's Canada for me all the way, even though I'm a permanent resident of the USA and you've got your American ties. We're all going to cheer for Canada, but who do you actually think is going to win?
U.S. has a good team, man. They're just. I find the U.S. is a lot younger. A lot of their stars are younger, but I'm on Canada. I'm betting Canada. It's hard to bet against Canada when you're Canadian, whether it's World Juniors or anything best on best. So I'm on Canada, but the United States has a really, really good team.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Barney, I'm betting Canada. That's the meme. Okay. As we move along.
Plus 170, by the way. Plus 170. I think they're both plus 170. So for every $100 you bet, you win 170.
I don't even know what that means. Okay, I was just going to say to the audience, if you got questions for Barney, fire them my way because I'll hog Barney's time myself. So get him in here now. And Jeremy writes in from Winnipeg, and he says, hey, Barney, what was it like to play with Mario and Jagr?
Unbelievable. I was fortunate to be able to play with probably 25 Hall of Famers, Joe Sakic and Forsberg, Lindros, Messier. Mario Lemieux is the best player that I've ever seen in my life. Maybe I'm a little skewed. No one's ever touching Gretzky's records. We know that. But Mario, healthy, 6'5", 240, to be able to dance like a magician, stick handle, passer. He could do it by himself. Was absolutely incredible. And one-on-one, another big guy in Jagr, one of my favorite teammates of all times, only because he just loved the game. He loved playing the game. He loved having fun, loved his teammates, always wanted to be better. And he really held everyone accountable in the fact that, if our team wasn't playing well and he wasn't playing well, he was going to put onus on himself right away and say, I have to be better. But God damn it, you all got to be better. We all, Barney, you got to dump pucks in better. You have to make it where we can retrieve them. You got to bring more emotion. Same thing to the D. But both of them used to use the funny line when our D weren't playing well and go D to D. That D to them boys is not working. So let's try to find guys in the same color shirts and let's have some fun. But Mario, I'm doing his event. He's got a fantasy camp in 3 weeks. Probably the best fantasy camp and best 6 days you can have. It's a great time.
902-518-3033, the Progressive Insurance text line. If you got questions for Matthew Barnaby, it's funny. You talk about where those places where you played, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Buffalo. To me, you're always a Sabre, but that's me. You may feel differently. The Rangers, I was just in Chicago, and before we talk about the state of the Blackhawks, I really want your take on the trade. I'm not done talking about the trade. Last Friday night, man. I saw you were chiming in on social media when it was going down. I thought it was an April Fool's joke or fake news. I couldn't believe it was happening.
Listen, I understand everyone wants to get paid. And Rantanen, obviously, the number couldn't work for the Colorado Avalanche. I think they did the best they could under the circumstances and fitting him in and moving him and getting some. I love Martin Necas. I think he's a very good player. So, like, you get a guy of that caliber that's a lot younger, a lot cheaper, and you can add to your team going forward. Nathan McKinnon, listen, there's Connor McDavid, there's Nathan McKinnon, two of the best players in the game. You can take either of those two, flip-flop them. You're going to be happy with either of those guys. It's hard to win, and we see it in Toronto when you have so many guys making a certain threshold of money. So, listen, I respect Colorado so much. I know Joe Sakic and the above, they've had internal discussions on what they were going to do. They made a trade that they thought was best for their team, not only now, but in the future. Is Rantanen the best player? Absolutely. Absolutely. But if he wants $14 million a year times 8, that's tough to make your team competitive when you know that McKinnon's going to be coming back up and you have a guy like Cale Makar that's going to be in that same range of money going forward. So I think that's how you start to respect guys like Sidney Crosby so much more. Tom Brady, when he was in the NFL, so much more. Guys are willing to take less for the team to do better and have success. And I think that's where you start to really respect guys that are out there and do that. Rantanen has every right to go get as much money as he can. I'm not begrudging him in any which way. He has every right. I just think we respect when other guys take less, 12 million instead of 14 million, 10 million instead of 12 million. I think you know where we're going here.
Of course. And you have that player perspective that the fans don't really understand, but it's like get as much as you can while you can.
Yeah.
That's the way the players look at it, right? And you should not be offended by that. Avalanche of questions have come in, pardon the pun, but I will say this. So I was just in Chicago. I spent the night in the Blackhawks alumni suite. Who do I run into? Kyle Calder. And he's a big fan of yours, by the way. I think you told me when you showed up in Chicago, he was the captain. And even Calder said, he goes, I wasn't the captain for long. But I don't know who was worse, the Blackhawks then or the Blackhawks now. What do you think?
Wow. That's tough. I was only there a year, and it was a mess. I mean, it was a mess all the way around the organization and under old ownership. It was a tough place to play. Going in there, we weren't on TV. 6,000 fans. We got like 100 tickets to give away every night, and we couldn't give them away. So playing inside of the United Center, which holds about 21,000, having 6,000 in there was very tough. You know what? They put the leadership on guys that weren't ready for that. And I love Kyle. I love Mark Bell, Tyler Arneson. Those were the leaders that we came into that room with. And then myself was inserted, and Marty Lapointe, Curtis Brown, Jason Cullimore, Nikolai Habibulin. We weren't really given that time to turn around. Now they found out once they drafted Kane and Taves and Duncan Keith and Patrick Sharp, who we got Duncan, Seabrook, and Sharp all in that same year as rookies. I was like, the future is very, very bright here. I'm not going to be here to see it. There's no way that's going to happen. But I don't know. It's pretty damn close. This team stinks pretty bad now, Rod. And, Connor Bernard's in a tough spot. He's just not surrounded by a lot of good players. And that's the hard thing when you go first overall and the expectations are so high for you. When you're on the worst team in the league, there's very few Sidney Crosbys and Connor McDavids that can come in and do what they do. And that's how special they really are.
I think McDavid went through darker days in Edmonton than Bedard's going through now. So it's like, get used to it, Connor, is all that I can say. Yeah, it's going to take a long time.
Listen, I hear rumors, maybe he wants out. Maybe he's going to ask for a trade. Listen,
no.
It's up to you to be the leader like those guys did. When Crosby went to Pittsburgh, he doesn't come. They're folding up shop there, just like when Mario did in '84. Connor McDavid went through some tough times there, and it's up to those guys to change it. It's up to Connor McDavid to change the mentality, the expectations, and the product on the ice to change that organization into a perennial winner, contender. It's hard to win a Stanley Cup, but Crosby's done it. McDavid's got his team close to it, and he will overcome it. That's part of being a generational talent and a first overall pick.
Exactly. BW in Edmonton says, Barney, who was your toughest fighter you ever faced?
Wow. I just got an invitation from Friday Night Fights, which is a Flyers alumni thing. And third year in a row, it's a lot of fun. They raise a lot of money for a great cause. But Stu Grimson, the hardest I ever got hit was Darren McCarty. I think you guys can see the remnants here. There's 28 stitches. That was a unibrow. And every time I look in the mirror and shave or put some product in, I'm reminded of Darren McCarty hitting me. But Stu Grimson, man, whew, the Grim Reaper. Anytime you fight a guy like the Grim Reaper, you're probably in for it. So Stu has become a very good friend, probably the smartest guy I know that's ever played hockey, intelligent, well-spoken, and just a true gentleman. But he was probably the toughest fight.
But let's be honest, the wires aren't quite touching in Grimmer's head.
No.
They're
No. When you watch,
there's something. Yeah.
Yeah, you go back and watch those fights from the 80s when he came in, and he played in Canadian university hockey before he turned pro, and he just looks like a psycho. And now you sit with him, he has a glass of Merlot or Chardonnay, and I'll get a text from them literally the day before the event, and he calls me Sweet Barney now. And he's like, Sweet Barney, I can't wait to see you. I love you. Hope the family's well. See you in a couple of days. And I just respond, I'm like, who dis? This is not the same person that I know.
I feel like I might have had a hand in brokering that deal. And don't tell me if I'm wrong. But we did a banquet together, and he brought like an hour and a half long tape of his fights. It was in Estevan. And he's pointing out the fights like Howie Meeker on the screen in front of the whole crowd. I'm like, Barney, Grimmer, can we shut this off? Like, they're falling asleep. But he was going through every fight, every single. This is why I lost my mind here this night. Okay, last one. Colin in Ottawa. What does Barney think of the whole Sens playing preseason games in Quebec City controversy? I think my fellow Sens fans are overreacting to some preseason games going to Videotron Center.
Yeah, listen, Quebec's a great hockey town. I'm biased because I played my junior hockey 3 years in Quebec City, in Beauport, Les Arfans, a big, terrible snow owl, just very threatening out there. But I love it. Listen, Quebec, anywhere in Canada that they get to play exhibition games, I'm okay with. This is a religion for us in Canada, and especially true in Quebec, how much they love the hockey. Do I think it paves a way for Quebec to be a franchise in the future? No, I don't at all. So I think people are overreacting. I know they love their Sens. I know that people overreact all the time. But no, I think this is a great thing for the NHL, but especially for Quebec. Ottawa's there to stay. You have Michael Andlauer as your new owner who has deep, deep pockets. You're going nowhere, and maybe this even helps with a little prelude to having that rink right on the border of Quebec and Ottawa.
Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Kansas City three-peat.
How about
Kansas City?
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
tough.
You love teams that cover.
Philly.
I know
Philly's
that.
got a great D. Philly's got a great D. They're number one in the NFL. I think they shut down Saquon, which no one has been able to do. But Spagnuolo, that defense, they can surprise you. They'll be blitzing all day long.
Should be a hell of a game for sure. All right, Barty, have fun in Buffalo. Appreciate the time, man.
Cheers. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. The 18th all-time penalty minute leader in the National Hockey League, Matthew Barnaby. I love that guy. I'm so glad to have him on the team. We'll be right back with a sports update and overtime, whatever you'd like to get off your chest. Here's your chance. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasts wherever you find your podcast.